Right now, stopping in for a good thing with a good man who comes in to always have a chat with the plan, and that's his today, none other than, of course, Hunter Murray from Alice J. Car. And iGear going okay these days?
Well, we call it Phone Hut now.
Oh, sorry, man.
Yeah, there's a little bit of
I have no idea.
That,
sorry, no idea.
Well, we know that. But no, we've upped the game. We've given it 2 words now, not just a funny acronym. But, it's going well. Yeah, we're still doing the repairs. We're still doing the keeping the pills. In fact, that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about today. It's a bit of comms stuff.
This is interesting. So a couple of weeks ago, I had a screen completely die on my phone. If I'd known about your phone hut, I would have been there. But anyhow, one of the things about this is we are now so dependent on technology. It is just crazy, absolutely crazy.
It keeps me in a job. That's for sure.
Well, it is. You've cottoned on. I'm just in communication. But then what happens when communication dies? We just don't go back to sending smoke signals and all the rest of it. But what is the reality of this? So, for example, like, I found that when I had a replacement phone while the other one was being looked at, my numbers and contacts and everything were on the phone. Right, so they were on the phone. That was it. Whatever number came to me in the way of a text or a call, I'm like, hello, who's that? I don't know who you are. Why, so here we are. We're in this place right now. It's very vulnerable. We're very vulnerable to all of these things. I mean, as you can see here, I'm making a Word document with literally all the numbers now, A to Z, that I'm going to keep in hard copy. I'm going back to the old days of having a phone list, as in both paper and pen. Or,
at least a backup.
So the backup is that, as far as that goes, getting in touch with people. But these days most people can't leave their house without their mobile phones. They'll get halfway to where they go and do a U-turn.
I don't know if people know, but I did my trade with Telstra, and back then, we only started the mobile phone stuff in the the late 80s, early 90s, and showing my age. I used to have 100 numbers in my head.
So much for smartphones, they've made us all dumb.
Absolutely.
But listen, I saw this thing the other day about the BlackBerry. I watched this thing. It was a multi-billion-dollar business that started up and was the first, basically. It was going to go one way or the other, right? And BlackBerry was run by a couple of tech execs or tech giants from Canada. They were actually very flippant about when Steve Jobs came on stage and presented the iPhone. They were like, we'll be right.
Hadn't got a keyboard.
No, you weren't. No, you weren't. But yet I see the equivalent of what looks like a BlackBerry before me right now. What's going on here with this paraphernalia that's sitting on the desk?
So, and I've got a bit more for you. So I'll put them over there, and I've got this guy as well.
This guy's the king of the gadgets. I love it.
So we're talking about the zombie apocalypse.
Yes.
When it's coming, it's going to come. We all believe it.
For the days when Warthog will come into its own, not having to find fuel to go anywhere.
Either that or nuclear war, but probably the zombie apocalypse first. We want to hope that happens. We want to be able to...
I don't know, do we?
No, I don't know either.
I like KFC.
There's plenty around here already. So we want to make sure we've got some comms, because when we're bunkered down in our underground bunkers,
another Carrington hiding away, coming up.
We stop generating power, and there's no power there to run all this comms, right? We have a little bit of a solution at the moment. One is to go back to the old ham radio. And we can charge those radios, with solar cells.
CBs?
It's like CBs, but ham's a bit cleverer. One, you need a licence, but 2, you can go a lot further.
Not in an apocalypse.
No, in an apocalypse, I think they might forgive you.
They might forgive you for that licence.
But yeah, the ham radio stuff is been around for obviously way before any of this mobile phone stuff around, right? And it's still there. We actually have a ham radio club in town, and that's one thing I wanted to poke. Every second Sunday of the month, we get together at the Talkin Airport Museum.
The Canellan.
Canellan, sorry, I'll use the right terminology.
You got there almost. It was just
it was the accent. It was the accent. We meet there, and that's a really good place to know if you want to have voice communications. But what we've got here is kind of the same thing. It's CB but with texting. Okay, instead of voice. And let's face it, our smartphones have made us text more.
So what we're talking about here is if we're having a complete and utter meltdown of the grid, right? Yeah. So the grid is now gone as far as we know it. But who are we going to contact that knows we're out there trying to send out
a help message?
Because if their phones are down, how do they know that we can even get a hold of them?
So these things are good.
And what are these things? Explain.
So there's a system called Meshtastic or Meshcore. There's two sort of systems evolving at the moment over the last sort of 4 or 5 years. They use a thing called packet radio, so that they send
radio.
Yeah, so like the internet uses little packets to get from one side of the planet to the other. This is kind of the
terminology in your tech world.
This is getting down low level now. Yeah. So if I want to send you an email, so it gets broken up to packets. The packets have an IP address. Way it goes to you, finds you somewhere on the planet.
Right.
Kind of similar. But they use a radio and a frequency that's free to use, which is good, so we don't get caught up with all that regulatory stuff that you radio jocks like doing. And
this is for now.
This is for now. Forever.
No, because apocalypses, there's no regulatory.
Oh, well, that's true, yeah. But for now, when we're setting it up, we want to make sure it's legal, right? So it uses a free frequency, about 915 megahertz, which is kind of high compared to what you guys use. And therefore, being a high frequency, it's a line of sight thing. But if we can get the repeaters, and that's a repeater here. Sorry for the audience that can't see.
This looks like a little a solar-powered, looks like about the size of a cigarette packet with an antenna sticking out the top of it, right?
Yep, so it can pretty well last forever, especially in our...
and that's run by solar, so you don't need batteries.
Don't need batteries. It's got magnets on the back. You could chuck it up on a tower somewhere.
The idea of this is a transmitter?
This is what they call a repeater, so it's a transceiver. Yeah, so it's both.
Transmitter and receiver.
True.
Repeater.
And they're actually all repeaters in essence, but... So that guy can go up high,
yes,
just like a CB repeater, I guess, but you don't need all that power. CB repeater could be like 100 watts.
This works on very low
power, 0.2 of a watt. In fact, less than a mobile phone's about 0.8 of a watt.
What sort of a distance do you get
15, 16 kilometres.
Okay.
Right. But then you put another one there and it goes again.
So you're sort of like leapfrogging.
Well, this is called what they call the mesh, right? So they call it meshing. Yep, leapfrogging. So you're meshing from one to another. And because it's packet, it finds its own way. It figures out which way to go. In fact...
Omnidirectional, ostensibly.
Oh, yeah, mainly the antennas are omni, but we can put Yagis on them as well. So Yagis are the ones that look like TV antennas. They're very pointy. So we can, if we want to get a really long distance, more than, say, 18, 19 Ks, we'd put a Yagi to Yagi, and that would give us maybe 30 Ks. Again, trying to get line of sight. So what we've kind of doing, playing around in our little town, is we've set up a little network of these repeaters. So we're up and running with this system.
Who's on the other end, and how are they receiving this information?
Well, again, you probably need to have another unit on the other end. So it's still radio as such, like it's still walkie-talkie.
Are they receiving it through a UHF handheld, or what?
No, we can still use a mobile phone. Or, like you said, the little BlackBerry. So this little BlackBerry has the radio built in. It uses it, so it's got the software on it already. It's called Meshtastic, all right? So that's what's happening here. So we can send and receive to just an individual device, or we can have what they call a companion radio, which is this little credit card looking thing. So you've seen this.
I thought that was an RF, one of those RF card
it is actually, they call it a tracker.
How cool is this?
Yeah, I know, but it's basically a credit card.
It's the size of a business card or a credit card. Two of these put together.
It's just two different systems.
What does this do?
So that's a companion radio. So this will talk Bluetooth to your phone. You can use your phone to message. Again, Bluetooth doesn't need network, it's its own little thing. And then that will send off on what they call LoRa radio, the 15 Ks to get up to the repeater. And we're talking totally off-grid. So this is kind of how the system works, is it's not dependent on a grid. It's still dependent on what sort of... what's out there. And this is one that actually looks like Brucey's made up as a printed one. So the little radios that are inside, these things, maybe 40, 50 bucks Australian. They're not super expensive. You got to put a battery in with them and stuff like that. So you can actually make them up your own. And that's the whole point. You can get these little circuit boards that are pre-made. Whack a battery, whack a solar panel on them. Away you go.
Okay, so now can I ask, is this going to be for audio, or is it just text?
Just text at the moment. Okay. Just not quite fast enough.
We're talking about just being able to send a carrier pigeon.
Basic communication, and of course, like I said, everyone texts these days. They don't talk on the.
No, that's right.
They don't talk on the radio at all.
No. I'm the only one who does.
Yeah, feel lonely.
Call me old-fashioned.
Exactly. No, look, I came from the spot, and I'm showing my age here, but we never had mobile phones in my day. We only had CB and radio. And again, it's not necessarily a be-all, end-all going to save the planet, but it's another form. It's another way. Like you said, if we do have and we've had some pretty major blackouts in this town.
A calamity is always, what is it, 30 seconds to midnight or whatever it is.
Exactly.
But listen, just in wrapping it up, what is the core name of this again is called?
So it's called Meshcore or Meshtastic. There's sort of two of them, but mesh is the key word.
Is that one word?
Yep, one word.
Meshcore or Meshtastic.
Meshtastic.org is where people can look it up. It's non-profit. It's not to do bad. It's just having radio fun, but having another network. And I mean, you know, it's not going to be any Starlink or anything like that. It's nothing to do with that.
It's more localised.
Almost the other end.
Yeah.
Localised, but clever enough that we, you know, when the internet is running, we can actually use the internet to jump onto the other side of the world with it. The internet can be a backbone for it.
Is there a cost to this if we're using it now?
Nothing. Nothing. No. To use it, nothing. Just got to buy the hardware.
Oh, all right.
The software's free.
And by the way, speaking of the hardware, roughly out of pocket, how much?
Oh, look, I would budget sort of $50 to $150. I think this guy was probably $200. That one with the keyboard that looks like a
blueberry,
blackberry.
Yeah.
These guys. I mean, the idea of these guys, like I made this up myself out of an old tracker that had died. It looks like Brucey made this one up with 3D printer and a bit of circuitry inside. So it's about, he maybe might have bought that.
It helps if you're nerds, if you're tech nerds.
Oh,
like
look, it does, but it doesn't. Like, I'll make sure I get some.
See, but that's why we have you there, so we can come and see you, and you can give us the direct feed, the direct dope of where to go with this.
I mean, it might be handy between businesses, but it's a little bit, because it's radio in the essence and not. There is some buffering, so it can send it. So it might be handy for business to send messages to.
You've just given me a thought here, Hunter, and I think if anyone else is listening to this right now, before we roll, would this work in remote Australia?
Well,
I'm talking about out on country, where you've got guys working out there and you don't have Starlink, you don't have mobile phone connection, you're going to go out there with a team of blokes working, whatever you are, plumbers, tilers, bricklayers, whatever, tradies, right, who go out there, and can you set up something like this so that you're within, as you say, a geo-mesh to speak of communication up to 50 kilometres away from each other?
So you might have one on the car that could be your main repeater, and then you've got these guys on each individual. So it's a bit like a walkie-talkie. You've got no coverage at all from the satellite, from the mobile phones.
Yeah,
absolutely. You could use them like little walkie-talkies to message each other.
Free, free, and reliable, and free of any battery connections and stuff.
Exactly right. And but quick one, the Starlink stuff, which we obviously do at the shop as well. Yeah, that's taking right off as well. It too, though, it's going to come up to a point where we'll have direct-to-cell communications.
We're talking Starlink here.
Starlink now. So let me just jump a little bit. So it's kind of going to have that coverage no matter where you are as well, which is going to be real interesting. In fact, I think right now we've got a temporary thing where we can do 000. We can actually ring 000 from if you are out bush at the moment, and I think you can text from it. At the moment, I actually haven't tried it, to be honest with you, but they're just about to roll out these, what they call third-generation satellites. So old Muskie's still pumping up the rockets up into the air. They're going to run out with these third-generation satellites. So they'll slowly take, probably in the next year or 2 years, they'll slowly take them around, where you will be able to make direct-to-cell
But in the
DTCs.
meantime, this Meshtastic, or Meshcore, is something that anyone who wants to come in and have a chat to you about can encourage, you'll encourage them to look into this and give them a little bit more information, because as a backup, we're talking from one end of the spectrum to the other, obviously. We're talking like rubbing two sticks together with Meshtastic as opposed to Starlink, which is going to give you a connection out in the middle of whoop-whoop. But this can also still keep us connected in the event that Starlink goes down.
Correct.
In the event that happens.
It's going to be pretty hard. But look at, Russia's trying. China's trying. But, there is those, and we're talking both ends of the spectrum here, like, really good communications with Starlink. Coming back to some simple radio stuff. But the good stuff about this, it's free to use. Whereas, Starlink's really expensive.
Minimal buy-in. If you're talking $100, $150, even 200 max to get yourself sorted out with a few different repeaters.
And we've got probably, at the moment, we're kind of through about 5 or 6 repeaters around town at the moment. So we do have coverage. It's mainly outside. It probably won't penetrate inside the house. The idea is you put your own repeater on your roof, and then you can work inside, say, your house or your office, but then that repeater becomes part of the mesh, and that helps spread more of the network. And they're quite big. I think Melbourne, Sydney's got like 1,000K link up and running now between, if you actually look up Meshtastic Melbourne, or Meshtastic Victoria, you can see their map. They've actually got from the other side of Sydney right down to the coast, to the coastal road in Victoria. So it can work. You just got to, it's a public network. It's
it's
something that us as locals would build up slowly.
That's a great idea. I like it. Man, I think you should get a bit of a local team thing happening here.
Well, we are.
And a club, and exercise your right to speak for free. And,
absolutely.
Get on board and just circumnavigate the big players in this and have your own little network. Because communication should be free, I think. Meshtastic. It sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it is. It's called Meshtastic.
For that very reason. Right. Thanks for inviting us in on this. And it's been great chatting to you as always. There's always something to learn with the big Hunt man when he comes in. And good luck with the business too.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, pop in and see us. We do have some specials on at the moment, the Australia Day specials. So, pop in and see us. We've got a great catalogue out.